Okay, great. If you want to open up your book to page 54, we'll go through this chapter. Um, this is the last chapter in Unit 2. So we will be having a test over Unit 2 next week. And our midterm exam will just cover Units 1 and Units 2. Okay, so our first word is convey. Using sign language, chimpanzees can convey such ideas as candy sweet and give me hug. At my parents' 25th wedding anniversary celebration, I read a poem I had written to convey my congratulations and love. And to convey means to communicate. Um, on page 55, it's number 5, where it says to communicate or to make know. So convey also has a slightly different meaning than this, and convey can also mean to move from one place to another. And you may have heard the term a conveyor belt. So I know some of you actually, I don't know, but if any of you do work in the airport, and I know all of you have been to the airport, the conveyor belt is the thing is what we get our luggage off of, because it moves. It moves the luggage. But convey has that same sort of meaning as that you're communicating, meaning you're trying to get your message from you to someone else, in that you're moving it to someone else. So in that way, convey is the same as to say. It could also be to write. It could also be to sing. But it just means that you're trying to get your message from one person to another, from yourself to someone else, and make other people know it. All right, number 2 is delusion, and we see here again a word that ends in sion, and we know that this is a noun. Chang holds the delusion that money is everything. Sadly, in seeking financial success, he neglects what is truly important, such as family and friends. Alex clings to the delusion of being in total control even when drunk. In reality, he then lacks both judgment and muscle control. All right? And so, delusion is a wrong belief. So it's something that is not true. We had I thought we had the word earlier, illusion, but I guess we didn't have that one. But what a delusion is means that it's something that's in your head where you think things one way, but in reality they're not that way. It's on page 55. It has it as a false opinion or belief. So for those of you who know the word illusion, illusion really is something that you think you see, but you don't really see it. It's not what you think it is, what you think you're seeing. But a delusion is inside your head. It has to do with a belief, something that you believe. So in the first case, Chang thinks that money is everything. It's not something that he sees, but this idea is not correct. Okay, there's things that are more important than money, or money isn't the only thing. There's other things that are also important. Um, in the second example, Alex has this wrong idea that he's in control even though he's drunk. But the reality is that he's not, because alcohol affects both his judgment and his ability to control his muscles. Our next word is devise. In the 1880s, an American woman devised a machine that sprayed dinnerware with hot soapy water, the first automatic dishwasher. The police had devised a plan to catch the thief, but he escaped on the freight elevator. And devised means to create. On page 55, it also says to think up, to invent, and also to create. So devise really means to create, to create an idea. Now this idea can be put into practice. So in the first case, the woman devised a machine. which was a dishwasher, the first automatic dishwasher. But the place where she first created it was in her head. In the second one, it's someone is devising a plan. So again, this is something in your head. So after you devise something, you can make it and you physically create it. Um, but devise has that meaning of first you're thinking of the idea, and what comes after that is the actual making that idea happen. So take for example, you know, um, you can say, a woman creates a baby or creates life. Inside of herself, or a man and a woman create life. But we wouldn't say they devise life because they didn't think it, they didn't come up with the idea of how the baby is or what the baby will look like or the shape or anything like that. There's no thinking involved in the creation of the child. Savor. Katie savored the candy bar, eating it bit by bit, so that the pleasure would last as long as possible. Given a rare chance to enjoy the beach, I savored every moment in the warm sun. And to savor means to enjoy. But it means more than that. On page 55, it says to taste or smell with pleasure, to appreciate fully. So when you're savoring something, it's connected to your sense of taste or to your sense of smell, and you are enjoying you are enjoying that taste or that smell, and you're trying to make it last, to make it to fully appreciate it. There's an expression in English that's talking about living in the moment, which means that you're fully awake in the moment that you are. Your mind isn't thinking about things in the future or in the past, but you're right in the present and you're fully appreciating the present moment that you're in right now. When you're savoring something, that's what you're doing. So you can think of, eating. Um, think about this. I'm sure that there's some food that you miss from back home, and you think about if someone brings that to you, and you get a chance to eat it, and you're not going to get any more of it. You're really going to savor it. You're going to slowly enjoy it and fully appreciate the flavor of it. Uh, okay. Our next one, stimulate. And here we know it's a verb because it's ate, right, at the end. The teacher hoped to stimulate her students' interest in reading, pardon me, by choosing books that related to their own lives. I tried to stimulate my sick rabbit's appetite by offering him choice bits of carrot and celery. And what stimulate means is to make active. Um, it On page 55 it says number 6, to cause to become active or more active, to arouse. And arouse is really a better word. When we say to make active, what we're saying is that we're taking something from the state that it's in and making that state higher. So for example, in the first example where he's saying the teacher is stimulating her students' interest, means maybe the students are interested. Pardon me. Sorry. Maybe the students are a little bit interested in reading, but she's trying to make them more and more interested and get them excited about reading. In the second one, we're stimulating the rabbit's appetite. So the rabbit is not eating at all. You know that feeling when you're sick, nothing really tastes good. And maybe to, at least for me, to stimulate my appetite, I like sweet things. I need something that has a very like a nice sweet flavor, and that'll get me to eat more of it. But if it's just regular or bland, I'm not going to eat a lot of it. Um, but this To stimulate really means that you're raising the activity level. If you think about drugs, we often refer to drugs as stimulants. So there's certain drugs that you take, like say, for example, cocaine is considered a stimulant because what it does is it increases your energy level. It makes you more active. Coffee is also a stimulant, right? Which is why I drink it every morning, because it wakes you up. It raises your attention and your ability to pay attention. All right, our next one is subtle. Animal actors are trained to respond to human signals too subtle to be noticed by the audience. Although Yasmin was born in Alabama, she has lived in New York for many years. As a result, her southern accent is so subtle that some of her friends don't even notice it. Subtle means slight. And on page 55, it has subtle down as hardly noticeable, not obvious. So slight may not be the best synonym, but subtle means the opposite of obvious. So we had the word prominent before, and we've had I think we had obvious as well, or we had another word like that. I forget. Um, but but subtle is the opposite of that. It means it's something that you can see if you pay attention to it, but it's not something that is going to jump out at you or really attract your attention. So in the picture, it says the musicians are dressing in subtle colors. You know, grays and dull blacks and whites. These are subtle colors because they don't jump out. They don't really attract your attention. You can look at them and you can certainly see them, but they're not things that are going to jump out and get your attention. So in the example with someone's accent, if someone has a subtle accent, it means that you can hear it, but you sort of have to pay attention to hear it. You're not going to notice it without paying attention. All right, unique. Any live musical performance is unique. The music will never again be played in exactly the same way. My talents are unique in my family. For example, I'm the only one who can whistle through my nose. And unique means one of a kind. On page 55, it's number one. Unlike any other, one of a kind. Um, so, so unique starts with this uni, and uni means one. So something that is unique means that there's nothing else like it, that it's the only one of its kind. Now, all of us as people are unique, right? We may be similar in some ways to other people, but there's nobody exactly like me in the world, and there's nobody exactly like you in the world. So we're all unique. One of the things that we learn about here, growing up and going to school, is that every snowflake is supposed to be unique. If you were to look at each snowflake, each whatever piece of snow, that you wouldn't find two of them that were exactly the same. There's similarities, but each one of them is special and different. Universal. The United Nations was founded at advancing universal freedom and peace. The film had universal success. It was a hit in all parts of the United States and in other countries as well. And what universal means is throughout the world. Really, what universal means is throughout the universe. But but we're not in communication with anybody outside of Earth, so we just say throughout the world. Universal again begins with this uni, which is one. So the universal means it's one thing that's for everybody. So it's not diverse, but it's universal. On page 55, it's number 7 when it says worldwide or widespread. So some idea or some thing or some belief that is universal is a thing that is shared by everyone throughout the world, right? Maybe not every individual, but every society. So the idea that that we should take care of our children is a universal idea. It doesn't matter if you're from America or Thailand or Zambia or Germany or any country in the world. You're going to find that that is a universal belief that everybody shares. Versatile. Our computer is versatile. It can balance the family checkbook, do word processing, keep tax records, and play against me in chess. Edie is the most versatile person I know. She paints, sings, does gymnastics, and is a math whiz. Versatile means having many abilities. Versatile is number 10 on page 55. Able to do many things or serve many purposes well. So versatile has the important part of this of versatile is the ability to do many things. So in some cases, if we're describing a person, if we're saying a person is versatile, it means that that person has a lot of different abilities. There's an expression in English called a jack of all trades, and what that means is that it's a person who can do all sorts of different things, who has ability to do all sorts of different things. Versatile doesn't necessarily mean the person is an expert in all of those things, but it does mean that they have ability to do each of those things. If you're talking about an item that's versatile, it means that that thing can do more than one thing or a variety of things. So in this example, the computer is versatile because it can do paying the checkbook, or sorry, balancing the checkbook, the word processing, the tax records, and also playing games. So it has the ability to do lots of different things. Okay, and so then our last word here is vivid. To make the living room bright and dramatic, we decorated it in vivid shades of red. At a funeral, most people wear black or dark gray colors with little or no vivid colors. And we can see in the picture that these musicians are dressing in vivid colors. And so what vivid means is bright. So in some ways, vivid is the opposite of subtle, right? Vivid means that it's attention getting, that it's bright, that it's in your face, whereas subtle is something that is more subdued or less attention getting. On page 55, it says number 3, bright, brightly colored, striking. So vivid is something that sometimes it's also used for something that's very clear or very clearly visible. But in this case, what we're talking about in terms of colors, colors being vivid, meaning they're very bright and they're easy to notice. So let's take a minute here and just go through the sentence check, and this is on page 56. So the first one says, the chimp blanked a way of reaching the banana that hung from the ceiling. She piled one box on top of another and climbed up. So this chimpanzee, a monkey, came up in her head with some idea, with a plan for getting the banana. The quote, terrible twos is a blank stage of childhood. In every culture, children start demanding independence at about this age. So this is a stage of childhood that is experienced all throughout the world, in every part of the world. So the first one is devised, meaning that the chimp created a way or thought up a way of reaching the banana. And the second one's universal, meaning that this is a stage that happens regardless of whether you're in the United States or Thailand or Zambia or Germany, whatever country you're in. Pam's eyes blinked a blank message that only her husband saw. I think we should get ready to leave before it gets any later. Breathing deeply, I blanked my favorite my favorite summer smell, freshly cut grass. Sorry, let me go back to the first one. So Pam's eyes blinked a message, and the only person who could notice the message was her husband, right? He was the only one who got the message. And in the next one, this is someone's favorite smell. So they're breathing in deeply to enjoy over a long period of time this smell, and as much as possible. The painting, with its bright stripes of shocking pink, green, and yellow, was so blank that it glowed even in dim light. So this is a painting that had bright, bright colors, pink, green, and yellow. Very bright, very clear colors that you could see even when the lights were very low. So the first one's subtled, right? This she communicated just by opening and closing her eyes, which is to blink. And it was a message only that her husband could get. It wouldn't be obvious to everyone. In the second one, this person is enjoying and fully appreciating this their favorite smell. On the last one, the colors are vivid. They're very striking, right? They're very bright and striking. Even if Mr. Pierce sang his lecture while dancing on his desk, he couldn't blank my interest in geology. To me, it's the most boring of subjects. So even if Mr. Pierce did all of these exciting things, he wouldn't be able to increase my interest in geology. When Geraldo saw the Grand Canyon, he made no attempt to describe it on a postcard. He felt that the glories of this natural wonder were too amazing to blank in words. So he didn't feel that he's going to be able to transfer this message to move this message in words from one person to another. So the first one, stimulate. All of this excitement couldn't even arouse the student's interest. In the second one, it's convey, meaning that he felt that there was no way that he could communicate this message with words. All right. I thought she loved me, but it was only a blank, said Lawrence. She was just a good friend. So the man believed that the woman loved him, but apparently she didn't love him. She just liked him as a friend. So he had the wrong idea. This Egyptian bracelet is blank, since no other bracelet in the world is made with the same combination of gems and precious metals. So this bracelet is the only one in the whole world. There's not another one like it. From a child's point of view, a simple cardboard box is very blank. It can be a dollhouse, a bucket, a desk, or even a funny hat. So this box can do all sorts of different jobs. It can be the dollhouse, it can be the bucket, it can be a desk, it can be a funny hat. It can do all of these different jobs. So the first one is a delusion, right? He had this incorrect belief about the girl. And the second one, the bracelet's unique because there's nothing else like it in the world. And then the third one, the box, is versatile because it's something that can be used for a variety of purposes. Okay, so again, if you have any questions, make sure to write those down. Do the vocabulary questions, and we'll go over those at the beginning of class. And bring any questions that you have with class to class. Take care. Bye.